Hi, yes, today we are discussing the enigmatic figure, the super spy of Europe, Lawrence of Arabia. You probably watched the movie Lawrence of Arabia. T.E. Lawrence, Thomas Edward Lawrence. He's a very important figure because his, his role is responsible for what's going on in Palestine and Israel today and other conflict. So basically, what happens, the Saudi Arabia rule, which is the area used to be called Hijaz, right? And it was ruled by the Ottoman Turks up till World War One, right? So the Ottomans have alliances with Germany and they lost the war. But anyway, the role of Thomas Edward Lawrence was a super spy, and he was already there as an archaeologist. He was very fluent in Arabic, and he cleverly figured it out that there is a wedge and there is a divide going on, and between Ottoman Turks and the Arabs, native Arabs. Obviously, the Arab nationalism was on the rise. The Turkish were obviously they were invaders, and they were seen as a foreign conqueror. They were Sufi Muslims, but they were different than Sunni Muslims in Saudi Arabia. So the Arab nationalism was on the rise before World War One. This is going back before 1914, and they have a problem with Turks, which could have been exploited. So the Lawrence of Arabia, he fulfilled that role, and classically fulfilled, and he supported and fueled the civil war between Saudi Arabia, Hijaz, and different Arab tribes, Badawi tribes, and between the Ottoman Turks. So why did that happen? Because the Turkish, they were very scared, and they were centralizing the government and taking away the rights from the Arabs, which is Arabs' autonomy, right? And also there was a Turkification of the Arabian Peninsula, right? Because of all these elements and poverty, and there was a plague as well. Obviously, as a foreign power, they were taking all the resources basically, and the Arab youth at that time, they didn't like the Turks very much, really. So we have here is Lawrence with the King Faisal and Saud, and there were two brothers actually, King Faisal and the Sharif of Mecca. Right. Anyway, so the civil war started, and Lawrence has given them weapons and promises. Look, that after that, when you kick them out, when they kick the Turkish out, we will give you a super Arab state and your identity back. Basically, it was about nationalism, and you can say racism as well. I mean, Arabs are genuinely racist anyway. So the Lawrence went back to the British Army, and they demanded some weapons, light weapons like machine guns, grenade, and guerrilla army tactics like commando actions against the Turkish garrisons in Mecca, Medina, Qutba, other areas, Syria, and all that Ottoman Empire. So they start blowing up railway bridges and supply line, try to make them weak, and then they go after that British help. They basically was a divide and conquer strategy, right, which was very successful. So Lawrence of Arabia, he was famous for that. But anyway, why it's important to know about all that? Because that time when they promised them Arab land and a super Arab state, and it appears to be a lie because it was a broken promise. And when the Turkish were kicked out and they went back and they lost the World War One, the Arabs asked Lawrence, "Can you speak to the Queen and can you make us a super state?" Well, obviously they're not going to do it. Hey, Britain and France has other plans, and they said, "No way, no chance. We're not going to give you an Arab empire, and because there will be another block of powers, and you're going to do the same as you were doing in the past in jihad and other invading other countries and stuff like that. And if you don't want any other superpowers." So they kept them divided and into different states like Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, and other countries basically. They said, "Well, we're not going to give you a state," which was a bit demoralizing. And at that time, the oil was not discovered. Remember that time, and they were very poor, Arabs, Saud family, and they used to actually beg in Mughal courts. The Mughal Empire in India, they were very rich, and they used to come and ask for donation, and Mughals, they used to give them a lot of donation. Time has changed now. They're very rich people now. House of Saud, $14 trillion in money. So basically, actually, they were traitors. they backstabbed the Turkish and their own kind, the Sufi Muslims, basically. So there's another picture of... Right, so things were not working, basically. That's a picture of Faisal with Lawrence in the background, the British administration. And unfortunately, and we also have a problem with the plague, and there was a famine as well. So that's fueled the Arab insurgency against the Ottoman. Well, thinking about the going back to stabbing your own kind, I mean, it's a different sect. Turkish sect is different than Sunni. Obviously, we have major branches, 3 branches: Sunni, Shia, and Sufi. The Turkish is more liberal. An Ottoman Empire obviously was on decline already. They have their time. They nearly conquered the Europe, half of the Europe. And people also, some historians say it was a mistake to go to Britain and ask for help against your own people, which was today's world. If you look back at that, I think it's right. Wow, the way things went against the Arabs, people say, well, you get what you deserve. Basically, what happened when the Turkish Empire was dismantled, the Ottoman lost the World War I. That's debatable as well, because they didn't lost it actually. The German lost the World War I. Because of the alliance, the Ottoman has to accept the defeat. Battle of Gallipoli, Ottoman has won the Battle of Gallipoli in World War I, where Churchill went there, took the navy as an admiral, and the British Navy and the Anzac Navy, made of New Zealand, Australia, and other countries, they got defeated by the Turks in Battle of Gallipoli. So basically, technically, the Turkish, they never got defeated in World War I as such. The defeat didn't come through because of Arab insurgency or anything else, but they got defeated basically because the German lost the war. I'll see it that way. But anyway, even after the war, when they asked a demand for it, there was a power vacuum. When the Turkish left, the Ottoman left, there was a power vacuum between them, and they started fighting each other. The House of Saud started fighting the Hijaz. The Sharif of Makkah actually declared himself Khalifa, which the House of Saud didn't like it, and they took about. Then another civil war broke out between them, and they start killing each other, Arabs. So House of Saud and the Sharif of Makkah. Sharif of Makkah lost the civil war, and he was sent to exile, and he created his own country, Jordan, basically. And they're still brothers, but they hate each other. So House of Saud and Jordan. Jordan is not that rich anymore. I mean, there's plenty of oil discovered in America later on. The Americans discovered a lot of oil in Saudi Arabia, and they got rich, filthy rich. But what's the link between all this history, Lawrence of Arabia, and between today Palestine and Israel, right? And whatever the Arabs are demanding. Arabs, they don't have a standing army, they don't have any power, they got just filthy rich, and they got money, and there's no research and development, there's no education, and they're basically a consumer market, consumer economy, and they're doing it. Their role is just rubbish. They're nothing. Nobody listens to them. They even have to outsource their own defense, like from Pakistan or other countries, America, even Israel. Right, so when this thing happened, the agreement and all that, and they got weakened, the British and France, they decided to create a Jewish state through Balfour Agreement, and the creation of Israel, we've seen it, and then they created, obviously Israel was created because of all that conflict with Lawrence Arabia and were fueling against the Turkish. Let's say this didn't happen and they stayed united, and they would have tolerated the Turkish and Ottoman, and there would be no Israel today, to be honest, because Turkish, they never allowed any Israeli. Everyone was neutral, and everyone's allowed in the Ottoman and Turkish Empire rule. They can go worship their gods in Israel and Jerusalem, and nothing gonna happen. I mean, nobody touched. Everyone neutral, and it was a peaceful time. But then they created the state of Israel. Since then, we have a lot of bloodshed, and now today, Arabs are complaining and crying every day. Oh, well, you shouldn't backstab your own kind, isn't it? So you're the traitor, right? Basically, you're the traitor. The young people, generation should know the root cause of the conflict. They were Arabs, so you can't complain today that Israel is killing our children. Obviously, they will do because your peers, your senior citizen and leaders, they've decided to go against their own kind and stab them back. They just had to join the French and the British against them in World War One, and they do want to discuss and talk about this chapter. Why don't we tell the youths, man? Anyway, Lawrence is considered as an enigmatic figure, and he was a hero of the British. If you are British today, you should be proud of Lawrence, and he is. That's his picture, fluent in Arabic. Lawrence died at 35 years old, and he was from Yorkshire. He died in Dorset in a bike accident, not wearing helmet. I think since then they brought this ban, you have to wear a helmet with serious head injuries, and that's how Lawrence ended, and he died. So basically, that's about Lawrence of Arabia, his background in Ottoman Empire, and how Saudi Arabia, Israel, and everything. That's because of that genius, Lawrence of Arabia. Remember the name. If you want further detail, watch the movie, 1960 movie, classical movie about Lawrence of Arabia. After that figure, we have a lot of movies about James Bond and all the spies, but this guy is a real light technician, right? Real spy, real James Bond, father of all spies, Lawrence of Arabia. Badass guy, man. Seriously badass. Thanks for watching, mate.